All right, DK, I know you've got to run to CBS Sports HQ here shortly, but this is one of the big talking point teams. I want to let you to get first word here as the Nebraska Cornhuskers have an over-under win total of 7.5. Over heavily juiced at -160, under at +130. Year 2 of Dylan Raiola. Dana Holgorsen now full-time OC, whole year. What are we doing?
I'm going to go over. I think Raiola does take a step forward with Holgorsen. I love the fact that they got him in there last year to work with him, start working on some of the terminology and the verbiage and just getting him more familiar with that. I think he cleans up his play. I do think this team has been knocking on the door. They're getting close. It's something I'm sure Nebraska fans don't like hearing in one-possession games because that was something that always plagued Scott Frost. And there was a few tough losses last year, but I do have him going ever so slightly over. This is why you won't hear in a locks win total pod. This is more of a vibes play. I do like Matt Rule a ton, but I'm going to go over. Schedule is pretty brutal.
Or
Thomas?
Since last night, I've seen not one, but two college football pundits put Nebraska in their college football playoff projection. And I mean, I'm talking two of the brightest minds in the space, Josh Pate and Brandon Walker, who are that high on Nebraska. And I am right there with them because
they let that much brain power in one room.
It's crazy to think, but they do. But like, I do think I'm over here too, but I'm like Danny. It's a slight over because I do think that we are going to see a jump forward because it's the third year bump for Matt Rule. Second year in Temple, 6-6. Next year, 10-4. Second year at Baylor, 7-6. Next year, 11-3. Matt Rule in his second year at Nebraska, 7-6. Here comes a 10-win season for the Huskers. If Dylan Raiola improves and starts, continues his development, I think that certainly increases their floor. I think talent-wise, I have concerns about the wide receiver room. We'll have to see guys, step up because I thought that the receivers that they had last year were kind of underrated big bodies who did a good job, and that's going to be difficult to replace. And then there's also the schedule, which does have some problematic spots. You've got Penn State on the road. You've got Michigan coming to town. Those are two difficult games, but it's not overly difficult outside of that. So I think there is room for Nebraska to kind of wiggle itself into that playoff projection talk at the end of the year. I mean, this was the reason they were my dark horse when we've been talking conference dark horses this offseason. I chose the Huskers for a reason. I don't think 10 wins is completely out of line here. I think 8 is far more likely, and so is 9. But I only need that to get over the 7.5, so I'm over.
I'm under. And I'm a pretty big believer in the quarterback. And I think they did a nice job at receiver. I'm not sure I love the O-line, to be honest. We'll see how those guys play, how healthy they are. Major concerns here along the defensive line, like major. I don't know how this is the top half D-line in the Big Ten, and it might be like bottom third. So I think if that is the case, can Cincinnati score 30? I think so. And then opening weekend, I don't know.
But the rest of the offenses, first of all, I'm with you, Bud. I'm on the under. I in defense has kind of been my red flags. But then I was auditing my own opinion, and I was like, how many of these offenses are going to be just like totally exposed? I mean, this team looks like they are destined for 38-35 almost every single week.
Mm-hmm. To your point, if the offense is on the schedule, play ball. Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Look, this is not like a crazy strong under for me, and I certainly think if this defense does overachieve and the offense just does what I think it will, they could be a college ball playoff team. Absolutely. And I wasn't joking about some like the Raiola for Heisman stuff. I think like if you like Nebraska to make the playoff, you probably need to be taking a piece of Raiola at 60 or 70 or whatever he was. Because, guys, the defense ain't taking this team to the playoff, right? Like it's going to be him, the mule load the wagon, right? So, like, let's get on board. I'm okay if I'm extremely wrong about Nebraska's D-line, Tad Young. Yeah, like they might be really good. I don't think they are. We'll see. We're kind of paid to have opinions on this, and we're going to be wrong some, and we're going to be right a little bit. I do think the offense is probably pretty damn good. If the O-line's not good, though, then I think they have real trouble.
For the record, I've never been wrong.
I've been wrong. I don't care if I'm wrong as long as I'm profitable. You know, push a little, win a little, lose a little, tip dealer, and go out with some beer money.
Any prediction anybody on this show has ever made that did not come true, that's on the team, not us.
That's the player's fault. That's true.
Injuries.
I am out on college football playoff, but I still think this is a very, very good team. Michigan, which will be a Big Ten on CBS game already announced. Michigan's huge. If they come out, like if they beat Cincinnati, and then in that Michigan game, they are like flying high, looking the part, playing well on both sides of the ball, then I'll know that I'm wrong. But if Michigan goes into Lincoln and wins that football game, then all of a sudden the math to be able to get to where I think some Nebraska fans are hoping to get to gets a little bit tougher. And maybe I feel a little bit better about going under 7.5. Good football team, just not ready to go to 8-4 looking at this schedule.